Hey everybody, it's Tracy here. I stole the camera. Don't tell him. But we're going to talk about some things today, including my favorite holiday, Halloween. Yep, Halloween was always my favorite holiday. Some people really like Christmas, and I mean presents are great and everything, but Halloween was the kids' holiday. Halloween was the holiday where all bets were off. It wasn't just, your normal, don't talk to strangers, don't take candy from strangers. It was encouraged on Halloween. And it wasn't be back before dark. No, you left after dark. The great thing was I had two friends that I grew up with. And the way that our neighborhood was, they were like 3 points of a triangle where we lived, within about a 5-block radius. So we were able to meet at one person's house, and then we'd all go trick-or-treating till we got to the next person's house, dump our candy so our bags weren't heavy, and then go to the next person's house, and then end up at the last person's house, and then we would all go back and gather our candy and then do our trades and everything. And I mean, we started at 6 o'clock at night, usually just as it was getting dark, and we normally didn't get back until 10 or 10:30. Times were different back then. Now the kids go trick-or-treating in the daylight, and 4 to 6 p.m. usually seems to be about right for people. But back then, I mean, we made a map, and we knew exactly where we were going to go, so we didn't cross any place twice. We were out for maximum candy extraction from our neighborhood. So it was just great. It was like our free-for-all day. We just had a great time. If I could go out trick-or-treating right now, I would. Isn't that the coolest light? I got that at the dollar store, believe it or not. Looks like it's a flickering candle, but it's not. Decorations have always been a big thing for me. Oh, the blue jay approves. Always. I've always loved them. It's my police tape with do not enter and my black cats on it. Yeah. I've always just really loved the decorations, even when I was little. I always enjoyed the spooky decorations. I always enjoyed watching the tacky old Hammer horror movies on Saturdays. It's kind of sad that kids don't get to do that anymore. Honestly, it's a crying shame now, but where we live, we don't get any trick-or-treaters. And it is a shame. Hello, Shelby. Because I am also a jack-o'-lantern fanatic. I like to carve a lot of jack-o'-lanterns. I usually do 4 or 6, regardless of the fact that pretty much nobody gets to see them anymore. But I have cat hair in my face, imagine that. But I still love doing them. I absolutely adore making jack-o'-lanterns, so I make sure that I do. Just for me. Bless you. Bless you again. I always make one for the cats, I make one for the dogs, I make one for Mike, and I make one for me. And I'll put pictures of the ones that I made last year, because I made Mike kind of a special one last year. Okay. Thank you, Shelby. Pardon the interruption there, that was Shelby on the table. But yeah, I mean, I just absolutely adore Halloween. I get dressed up to go to work. Not a lot of people do, but I do, because how am I going to wear a witch hat to work otherwise? If you do it any other day except for Halloween, they're going to think you're crazy. Not that I care, but hey. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my belief in the big guy. I guess you can't say that I've always believed in Bigfoot, but my dad was in the Navy, and he served from the late 40s to the early 50s, and he always told me stories of things that he had seen when he was out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and nothing around for hundreds of miles. And certainly certainly no flying ships of any kind that would have made sense for the things that he saw out there. He always instilled me with a really strong sense of, until it's proven that it isn't, leave your mind open to the fact that it might be. And I always was like that. My mom was she's kind of the kind of person that would say, oh, that's crazy, and just ignore it. And speaking of which, happy birthday, Mom. My mom turns 90 today. Yay. I spoke to her this morning on the phone, and she's doing okay. Even through all this craziness of 2020 that she says in her 90 years, she's never seen anything like that. But yay, Mom. Hi. But my dad was always the kind of person, I remember when I was growing up in the 70s, and 7:30 on Saturday, In Search Of, with Leonard Nimoy hosting it. We watched that, me and my dad, every single Saturday. And that was the first time that I heard about Bigfoot and UFOs and all kinds of things. Easter Island. I still don't like Easter Island. The Moai terrify me. I can handle whoever's living back there, but if a Moai ever was looking in my window, I'm done. But, at any rate, I digress. But I was always very open to these kind of things, and that's why I think when Mike and I moved up here, and we started watching a lot of the things that were on, like Finding Bigfoot and all that stuff, but it basically led to conversations of, do you believe in that kind of stuff? Because I know that a lot of people may be with partners, or may have people in their family that if they tried to talk about belief in a Bigfoot or in UFOs or things of that nature, people would look at them like they were nuts. Luckily, first of all, I was raised not to care what other people thought, so it didn't bother me. But when Mike and I got on the discussions of things, it was, do you believe in that? Well, yeah, I believe in that. Why not? Did we necessarily believe that they were living across the river from us? Not necessarily. But, we started this just kind of filming just to see if we could capture anything odd. And believe you me, we have sat out here enough nights in every season, even in the dead of winter. We know the noises of the animals around here. We know coyotes and foxes and bobcats, and let me tell you something, screech owls, because a few years ago I was sound asleep, dead asleep, and the bedroom window is about 10 feet away from a tree, and I was startled out of sleep by a screech owl that was in that tree, doing a screech, not doing its, they do this weird little trilly call that is probably the creepiest thing I've ever heard, but this thing screamed in that tree and woke me up, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Of course, someone who shall remain nameless slept through it, because he would sleep through a bomb going off in our house. But honestly, that screech owl scared the life out of me. But now I know what a screech owl sounds like. So when we put up videos and we have what we call strange noises or things of that nature, we're not just throwing it out there for the fun of it. We're throwing it out there because we can't sit there and go, oh, well, that was a fox. Oh, that was a coyote. A lot of times when we sit out here, he sits with the earphones on, listening on the corner with the dish. So he's listening farther in the distance than I can. But I sit out here without earphones on because I can be the person that he'll look at and say, what was that? Oh, that was somebody's door shutting. Or, what was that? Oh, I think it was an acorn on the roof over there. I kind of sit out here for, not, I wouldn't say skeptic. I sit out here to assure him that if he heard something, he heard something, if you know what I mean. And there was a noise. He has, I believe he posted a video of it a few years ago, where there was a sound. When I listen to that recording to this day, the hairs on the back of my neck still stand up. It creeps me out because I can't tell you for the life of me what that was. The rock throwing incident was another one. I was in the house. It was dark out at the time. Hello, Mr. Crow. It was dark out at the time, and the next thing I knew, he's pounding on the window, screaming. I did not know what was going on. All I know, as I can assure you, in over 20 years, I have never seen him that freaked out about anything in my life. He was beside himself. And when you listen to that recording of the rocks being thrown into the river, and you can hear splash after splash after splash, it terrified me. And I can assure you, in March, there was nobody up there. He went up there and checked it out, and to throw a rock from where that rock pile is, to throw large rocks from where that rock pile is up there, it would be near impossible to have them land actually in the river. It is a distance. Why would somebody be up there in the middle of winter, in the dark, not even knowing that anybody was around here or sitting outside mainly, and pitch rocks into the river? It doesn't make any sense. As far as I'm concerned, there are non-believers, there are skeptics, there are believers, and there's knowers. Non-believers are the people that are not going to believe. You can show them a photo that you took of the face of a Sasquatch. Oh, that's fake. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. There are skeptics that are open to the possibility that these things may exist. So they will take a good hard look at the evidence. A skeptic is not a non-believer. A skeptic is a person that will sit there and say, let me look at what you've got and make my own decision based on the evidence. Then there are believers. There are people that have had experiences and seen things and heard things, and they believe. They believe that there's something out there. I think I fall into that category. I'm not a knower because I've never seen one. I don't know that I ever do want to see one. Knowing that they're out there and hearing them is a whole lot different to me than seeing it in the flesh. But I do believe. Why wouldn't they be? Why couldn't they be? I absolutely have no explanation for some of the things that we've heard around here. We haven't even captured everything. There's things that we've heard that happened before we were filming or recording that changed the way I think about things, like my trip in the woods where I heard the whistles and the footsteps. Like I said, at first I was very, very scared that it was somebody out there that was doing something insidious and that I should probably get out of there before I disappeared. But when I look back at it and I think to myself, could that have been a Bigfoot in that woods? Could I, we didn't, when we were out on that property hunting a lot and doing things like that, we didn't pay attention to the signs. We didn't know the signs. And there was another instance that took place that we've never discussed, that many, many years ago, we were out on property and we were cutting firewood on the back side of our property. And when you came in down the trail, there was a huge, huge hickory tree. And hickory, if you know wood at all, hickory is a very, very, very hard wood. There was no wind that day. It was just a normal fall day in the woods, and we were busy cutting on trees, and suddenly we heard this huge crack, and then we heard something, and I turned just in time to see something falling in the woods. When we were on our way back out of the woods, there was a branch from that tree, and this branch was 12, 14 feet up, and it was big. I mean, it was a hickory branch that big, and it was green hickory. It was live hickory. This was not a dead branch. And as I said, there was no wind, and it was laying on the ground. Now, what in the world would make a hickory lose a branch that large on a day with no wind, no rain? Didn't even think about it, just, oh, well, that's weird. But then when I think about it later, when I think about it afterwards, could it have been one of our buddies? Were they upset that we were in that part of the woods that we normally weren't in? Were they giving us a warning? I don't know. All I know is that something shouldn't make a huge branch of hickory just fall out of a tree. And that's why we appreciate you guys. Because for so long Mike made these videos and got absolutely no feedback, and we didn't know, were people not hearing what we heard? We got nothing. And now with you guys, it's really been great for us. It's been a blessing for us, because other people are hearing what we're hearing and going, huh, you've got something there. And it really makes us happy, first of all, that we're able to share it with you, and second of all, that other people get to hear what we're hearing, and that other people can experience it with us. So many people have reported hearing things and seeing things that we didn't even know were there, that it's really given us the confidence to continue these videos and continue searching, because we know something's out there. It's out there, for sure. Like I said, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it looking in my window one night. But, it's great for us to be able to share this with you guys and get the feedback from you, and have you keep watching. So as soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to go live. And I'm hoping, against hope, that will happen by Halloween. Because I would love to take you guys on a Halloween tour. See what else we might be able to capture. Who knows? There's lots of stuff going on around here. So, thank you guys for watching. Don't tell them I stole the camera. And we'll see you guys soon.